I called off my engagement with my fiancée when she asked for a pause to reconnect with her ex. After that, I sold our place, packed up, and vanished. Hey there, everybody. After what feels like forever, I'm finally ready to spill what's been happening in my life. I'm 28, a guy just trying to make sense of things, and I figured it's about time to open up. Here's the deal. Up until recently, I was convinced I'd be tying the knot with Jennifer, the woman I thought was my soulmate. She's 27, and we'd been a couple for 5 solid years, years I thought showed we were unbreakable. But now, I'm kicking back, scratching my head, wondering how I missed the signs earlier. Jennifer and I crossed paths at a buddy's birthday bash, thanks to a friend who knew us both. She had this funny, bold vibe and a laid-back attitude I couldn't get enough of. I'd gone out with other people before, but nobody clicked with me the way she did. We hit the ground running, and within a year, we were shacking up together. Everything flowed so easily, like we were totally in sync about our jobs, marriage plans, and one day starting a little family of our own. She made a living as a freelance graphic designer, while I handled projects for a tech company, so our daily routines matched up pretty well. Life wasn't all glitz and glamour, but it felt good, you know? We've been tossing around the idea of getting hitched for a while, and last year, I finally popped the question. Nothing over the top, just a cozy dinner at home, the two of us. Jennifer seemed over the moon. She teared up, threw her arms around me, and said yes. That night, we started dreaming out loud about a simple fall wedding, a short guest list, and this cute seaside spot we loved. It really felt like everything was coming together, or at least, that's what I told myself. But then, little warning signs started creeping in, so tiny I brushed them off. I didn't want to read too much into it, you know? At first, Jennifer was all about planning the wedding, sending me links to Pinterest ideas, flipping through dress options, even asking if I liked tulips or roses better for the tables. But a few months in, her excitement just fizzled out. I'd bring up something simple, like, hey, have you picked your bridesmaids yet? And she'd dodge it with a casual, oh, not yet, still figuring it out. Same thing happened with her dress, the cake, even the music. Stuff we'd both been pumped about turned into decisions she kept pushing off. We've got plenty of time, she'd say, like it was no big deal. The wedding started feeling like some distant chore to her. Back then, I chalked it up to stress. Planning a wedding can wear anyone down, right? Plus, Jennifer had a ton on her plate with work, so I figured she'd bounce back eventually. What I didn't catch on to was that her fading interest wasn't about the wedding at all. It was about us. The real gut punch hit one night when we were hanging out with friends. Someone mentioned that silly TikTok game. You've probably seen it. The one where you answer personal questions without cracking a smile or judging anyone. Things were rolling along fine until a question popped up. If you could go back to one past relationship, which would it be? Without even pausing, Jennifer blurted out, oh, probably Edward. Just like that. Edward, her college ex, the guy who'd cheated on her. The room went dead silent after she said it. She let out a nervous laugh and tried to smooth it over, saying, I mean, not that I'd want to. It's just a big part of my history. I wanted to call her out right then and there, but with everyone around, I held back. Later, when it was just the two of us, I brought it up. What's the deal with Edward? Why would you pick that relationship to relive? She just brushed it off like it was nothing. Come on, Eric, it was a dumb game. Don't make it a big deal, she said with a grin, then switched topics. I didn't push her on it because I wasn't in the mood for a fight over something that might have been small. But deep down, it stuck with me, gnawing at my thoughts. After that, her actions got harder to overlook. She was glued to her phone way more, scrolling through texts with this sneaky little smirk. She started tossing out vague reasons for why she couldn't hang out or why she'd ditch our plans at the last second. Oh, sorry, I've got a ton of work to catch up on tonight, she'd say most times. Or, I told my mom I'd swing by this weekend. The excuses weren't super shady on their own, but they were piling up fast. It started feeling like I was slipping down her list of priorities. Then came that Friday night that flipped everything upside down. I got home from work earlier than usual, pumped to spend some quality time with Jennifer. I was thinking we'd order takeout, maybe binge a show, just a chill evening together. But when I walked in, the vibe was off. She was parked on the couch with her laptop, but she wasn't working. She was just staring at the screen, totally zoned out. Hey, I'm home, I said softly, hoping to cut through the weird tension. You're early, she replied, and the way she said it made it sound like a problem. I shrugged it off and headed to the kitchen to start on dinner, but the quiet in the house felt heavy, almost suffocating. Normally, She'd ask about my day or share something about hers. How's that project going? Or did anything funny happen? But that night, nada. Finally, I turned to her and asked, is everything all right? She snapped her laptop shut, looked me in the eye, and said, actually, there's something I need to talk to you about. My stomach dropped hard. You know that sinking feeling when you can tell something awful's coming and there's no dodging it? That was me, standing there like a dope with a spatula in my hand, bracing for the worst. I walked over and plopped down across from her. Okay, I said, what's going on? She hesitated, like she was fishing for the perfect way to say it, then just let it rip. I've been thinking about us, and about Edward. I almost cracked up right there. Edward? Are you for real? What's he got to do with anything? She nibbled her lip and dodged my eyes. I think I need some time to sort things out. I want to take a break and see if there's still something there with him. I couldn't wrap my head around what she was saying. Hold up, you want to hit pause on us and go test drive your ex? Jennifer, we're engaged. Have you lost it? She jumped in quick, like she could patch it up. It's not like that, Eric. I just need to be sure I'm making the right call with you. And if it doesn't pan out with him, I promise I'll come back. That's when it hit me how twisted her thinking was. She actually expected me to sit tight, twiddling my thumbs, while she figured out if I was worth her time. Something shifted inside me right then. I didn't shout or lose it. I just sat there, staring at her, wondering how I'd been so blind to this. My fiancée had just dropped a bomb. She wanted a break to explore things with her ex, Edward. What do you even say to that? After a minute, I found my voice. So what's this break supposed to mean to you? I asked, sounding way calmer than I felt inside. She sat up a little straighter, like she'd rehearsed this part. I think we need some distance to get our heads straight. I'll take some time to figure out if what I feel for Edward is real, and you can think about us too, if you want. I couldn't believe the nerve of her. Wait a sec, I said, leaning in. You're telling me you need to go date your ex, and I'm supposed to sit here soul-searching about us? What kind of messed-up reasoning is that? She brushed it off like I was the one being dramatic. It's not about you messing up, Eric. This is about me figuring out what I need. The way she said it, smooth, rehearsed, avoiding my gaze, made it feel like she'd already made up her mind and just wanted me to nod along. You get how crazy this sounds, right? I mumbled. You don't just put your fiancé on a shelf while you go play what if with some jerk who treated you like trash. Her expression hardened, and for the first time, I saw how dug in she was, stubborn as a mule. I'm not asking for your approval, Eric. I'm telling you what I need. That one hit me sideways. The sadness I'd been feeling flipped into anger real fast. I got up and started pacing around, trying to cool off. So what's the plan, Jennifer? You just gonna grab a suitcase and crash at Edward's place? That's your grand idea? No, she shot back. It's not like that. I haven't figured out exactly what it'll look like yet, but I need some clarity before we keep going. I owe it to myself to be sure I'm choosing right. I let out a dry laugh. You owe it to yourself? And what about what you owe me? We're engaged, Jennifer, supposed to be building a future together, and now you're saying you need to take your ex for a spin to double-check if I'm worth it? Her voice got louder as she answered. I never said you weren't worth it, Eric. But if we're going to spend our whole lives together, I need to be 100% sure, and right now, I'm not. That was the kicker. She wasn't just curious about Edward. She was doubting me too. After 5 years, all our dreams, all our plans, she still wasn't sold on us. It crashed over me like a wave. She didn't even see how ridiculous and hurtful this whole thing was. To her, it made sense that I'd just hang out, twiddling my thumbs, while she sorted through whatever nonsense was swirling in her head. I stopped pacing and really looked at her, locked eyes with her. You know what? Fine, I said, keeping my voice flat. Take your break. She blinked, caught off guard by how fast I gave in. Eric, I'm not trying to hurt you. I just need some room to think things through. I nodded, face blank. Sure, if that's what you need. She froze for a second, like she'd expected me to beg or argue. When I didn't, she got up, grabbed her laptop, and muttered, I'll stay at my mom's for a while. This isn't permanent. We'll talk after I've had some time, okay? Okay, I said, simple as that. She stared at me, unsure how to read my reaction, then slipped into the bedroom. I could hear her rummaging around, tossing stuff into a bag. I stayed chill on the couch, but my brain was already racing. If she wanted a break that bad, she could have it. A few minutes later, the front door clicked shut. She was gone, probably thinking she'd left me here to stew and wait for her. She had no clue I wasn't about to sit idle. She could chase her little daydream, but I was already cooking up my own plans. I'll give you all an update once I get some things rolling. This isn't gonna wrap up the way she thinks. Alright, update time. First off, thanks to everyone who chimed in with feedback and ideas on my last post. You've been amazing. A ton has gone down this week, and I wanted to fill you in on where things stand. Huge shout out to this community for all the encouragement. A bunch of you said I shouldn't just kick back and wait, and you were spot on. I've been hustling to set stuff in motion. The first thing I did was ring up my buddy Alan. He's been my ride or die since college, and he's not the type to fluff things up. Once I laid out the whole mess for him, he didn't hold back. Alan swung by with a pizza, and we spent the whole night plotting. Man, you know she's gonna come crawling back when Edward flops, right? He pointed out, blunt as ever. The more we hashed it out, the clearer it got. I had to take charge of my own path. This wasn't about getting even. It was about grabbing the reins of my life again. I started with the house. Jennifer seems to forget it's 100% in my name. She's always going on about our home, picking out curtains and paint swatches, but I'm the one footing the mortgage bill every month. So, Monday morning, I got on the phone with a realtor. She stopped by to check the place out, and we agreed to put it on the market ASAP. Our neighborhood's buzzing right now, perfect timing, and we've already got a handful of folks interested. Jennifer's got no clue. She probably figures I'm just moping around in our house, waiting for her to get her head straight. Next up, I started easing her out of my world. Those live, laugh, love signs she had to have up on the walls? Trashed. The fancy throw pillows she adored? Donated. All her clothes and stuff she left behind? I packed them up neat and tidy. But here's where I got smart. I didn't just dump them at her mom's or let her swing by to grab them. I hired movers instead. They hauled everything over to her mom's place with a little note. Here's your stuff. Best of luck with Edward. Some might call that petty, but I don't see it that way. I'm not out for revenge. I'm just handling business. She wanted space to think? Well, now she's got plenty of it, and every since. The wildest part came when our mutual friends started poking around with questions. Instead of playing the sad sack or trashing her, I kept it real and simple. Jennifer figured she needed to test the waters with her ex before locking in for marriage. I decided I'm worth more than being her fallback option. You should see how people react to that. No whining, no finger-pointing, just the straight-up truth. It's funny how fast the narrative shifts when you don't try to steer it. On top of that, I've been making moves at work. There's this job at our West Coast office I've had my eye on forever, and I finally threw my name in for it. If the house sells, which looks pretty darn likely, and I snag this gig, I'll be hitting the reset button clear across the country. Jennifer's been blowing up my phone all week. It started with casual texts like, "Hope you're doing all right," but they ramped up to worried messages once she realized I wasn't just sitting still. Yesterday, she totally freaked out after her mom told her about the boxes showing up. "What are you doing? Why are you acting like this is done?" She texted, all frantic. I kept my reply short and sweet, because it is done, Jennifer. You picked your road, and now I'm picking mine. She called me up, sobbing, saying she just needed time to sort things out, that I was moving too fast, and this wasn't what she meant by a break. What did you think would happen? I asked her, keeping my cool. That I'd wait around like a loyal dog while you kick the tires on your ex? That's not how this goes. She was bawling, pleading. But what if I figure out you're the one I want? I didn't miss a beat. Then you'll have learned a hard lesson about not treating people like they're disposable. I hung up the phone after that, and here's the odd part. I'm not mad anymore. Instead, I feel free, like a weight's been lifted. Every box I tape up, every step I take, it's like I'm piecing myself back together. Bits of me I didn't even know I'd let slip away. Alan dropped by again yesterday to help me pack up the house, and he picked up on it too. "You're not the same, man," he said, eyeing me as we hauled stuff around. "You've got this focus now." He's spot on. I've changed. When Jennifer first hit me with her whole "I need to chase Edward" thing, it felt like my life was caving in. Now I see it wasn't my world crumbling. It was just the fake bubble I'd been stuck in finally popping. I've got more stuff brewing, but I'll save those details for the next update. For now, I'll leave you with this. Sometimes the best way to deal with someone treating you like a backup plan is to take yourself off their radar completely. Keep an eye out. This story's far from over, and I've got a hunch Jennifer's break to figure things out isn't playing out like she dreamed. Alright, update number 2. Thanks again for all the awesome feedback on my last post. Y'all are the best. Things have kicked into high gear, and I'm here to catch you up on the latest twists. Remember that West Coast job I applied for? Well, I landed it. The timing couldn't be sweeter. The house is under contract, and we're set to close next month. But that's just the start. What's really juicy is how Jennifer's little Edward adventure is shaping up. Word's gotten back to me through some mutual friends, and turns out their big rekindled romance isn't the storybook ending she pictured. Seems 5 years haven't done much for him. He's still the same unreliable guy who cheated on her back in college. And here's where it gets fun. Jennifer's been trying to spin the tale on social media, posting these hazy, feel-good quotes about discovering yourself and listening to your heart. So, I figured I'd join the game, but with my own spin. I put up one straightforward post. Life update. Thrilled to share I've accepted a job in Oakland. Sometimes when one door shuts, a better one swings wide open. Can't wait for this fresh start. Boom. The floodgates opened. People started chiming in with congrats, asking about the move, and, naturally, wondering what's up with Jennifer. I kept it short and real. We're not together anymore. She wanted to explore other paths, so I'm carving out mine. That lit a spark in our friend group. You know those buddies who weren't sure what to make of all this? Seeing me handle it with cool-headedness while Jennifer's out there dropping mysterious relationship one-liners totally flipped the vibe. Then came the work fallout. Jennifer's freelance design gig depends heavily on word of mouth and connections. Carol, a 30-year-old friend we both know from the tech world, used to send a bunch of clients Jennifer's way. Well, she reached out to me the other day. I cut the call there, and the strangest thing? I wasn't upset anymore. I felt unshackled. Carol, here's the deal, I said over coffee when she asked what went down. Jennifer's telling folks we're on a temporary break to grow separately, but that's not the full picture. I filled her in on Jennifer's whole "I need to date Edward" spiel. Carol's face said it all. She wasn't buying Jennifer's version one bit. By week's end, a bunch of her potential clients started delaying their projects with her. I didn't have to badmouth her. People just don't vibe with someone who treats promises like they're optional. Jennifer picked up on the shift fast. Her texts started flying in, all panicked. Why are you blabbing about Edward? You're wrecking my rep. This isn't fair. I just needed time to think. I replied to her last one. You got your time and space. What I do with mine isn't your business anymore. Then came the game changer. Edward, in all his brilliance, posted a pic of them at the same restaurant where Jennifer and I had our first date, like she was trying to rewrite our past with him. It was equal parts pathetic and hilarious. The post vanished quick, but not before our friends caught it. The last few holding onto Jennifer's "finding myself" story lost any respect they had left. Even her sister hit me up. I'm so sorry she's acting like this. You deserve way better. The best part? I didn't need to get spiteful. I just kept living my life, open and real, while Jennifer tried juggling both sides. Truth has a funny way of bubbling up. She showed up at my office yesterday, tears streaming. Edward had already shown his stripes, flirting with other women, being the same shady guy she knew from before. I messed up big time, she sobbed. I got scared of settling down, thought I needed to see if there was something better out there. I was wrong. You're the best thing I ever had. I just looked at her, steady as a rock. No, Jennifer, the best thing that happened to me was you showing who you really are before we tied the knot. She tried to push back, saying we could patch it up, go to therapy, that she'd earn my trust again. I shook my head. You're missing it. This isn't about Edward now. It's about you thinking I'd be your safety net while you shopped around. That's not love. That's convenience. She stormed out, a wreck, but me? I felt lighter than ever. The house closes next week. Most of my stuff's packed, and in a month, I'm kicking off a new chapter in Oakland. Some folks think I'm too hard on her. Everyone messes up, they say. But this wasn't a slip-up, it was a choice. Every text to Edward, every dodge about where she was, every minute she spent plotting to bench our relationship, those were decisions. I'll drop another update once I'm settled in. For now, here's my takeaway. Sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't settling scores, it's leveling up. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with me on this ride. Here's my last update, and I've got some cool stuff to share. Oakland's everything I hoped it'd be. My new place has this killer view of the bay, and the tech scene here is unreal. My office crew's awesome. Being around people who care about progress and ideas instead of drama feels like a breath of fresh air. But let me rewind and wrap up what happened back home first. The house closing went off without a hitch. Sold for more than we asked, even. Jennifer found out through friends and didn't believe I'd pulled the trigger until she cruised by and saw the new owners moving in. Here's where it gets wild. Edward, of all people, messaged me. A long ramble about how he never meant to stir trouble, and how Jennifer reached out to him months before she asked for that break. Turns out she'd been texting him for ages, setting up her little side quest way in advance, keeping me as her fallback. The irony? Edward dumped her, saying, if she could pull this on you, she'd do it to anybody. Her freelance gigs took a nosedive too. Most of those clients she had lined up, they moved on to other designers, not because I spilled tea, but because word travels fast in this field. One big client even hit me up. We heard about the engagement fallout. We need someone solid for long-term work. Know any good designers? I pointed them to a skilled friend of mine, and she scored the deal. Call it karma, I guess. Jennifer's social media spiral's been a show. First, it was weepy posts about losing the one, then rants about toxic folks who can't handle growth, and finally desperate flexes about how happy she was. The latest? A post about launching her own design firm. 5 days later, she was job hunting online. Her sister called me last week. Jennifer's crashing at our parents' place, saying she needs to heal from your split. She really thought you'd wait. When you sold the house and bounced, it shattered her whole illusion. The cherry on top was a video chat with our old friend crew. They were dishing local gossip, and someone mentioned spotting Jennifer at a coffee shop, fumbling to explain to a client why her portfolio site was offline. Guess who built and ran that site? Me. She couldn't figure out the hosting renewal after I let it lapse. Not my problem anymore. Out here, my new life's clicking into place. I've joined a rock climbing group, started Spanish classes, and adopted a pup from a shelter. Jack, the best sidekick I could ask for. Way better than my ex-fiancée. The tech crowd's welcoming too. I got invited to speak at a dev conference last week, something I'd never have done if I'd stayed put. It's wild what you can pull off when you're not lugging around baggage. One last thing. Jennifer emailed me, begging for some old pics from our shared cloud. I'd already grabbed what I wanted and killed the account weeks ago. I know you're erasing me, she wrote. But you can't wipe out our memories. Those 5 years mattered. My response was short. You're right. They taught me what I don't want in someone. Thanks for the heads up. Some mutual pals think I'm too cold, that I should cut her slack for her moment of doubt. But it wasn't a moment. It was a calculated move to keep me on standby while she chased something shinier. What's the biggest lesson I've taken from this? Sometimes the crummiest things that happen lead to the best payoffs. If Jennifer hadn't bared her real self, I might have married her, only to find out who she was years down the line, maybe with kids in the mix. Instead, I'm in this awesome city, rocking a great job, meeting cool people, and feeling pumped about what's ahead. The sting of betrayals faded into gratitude for dodging a bullet. Thanks to all of you who followed along and tossed in advice. Your support kept me steady when I could have wavered. To anyone in a similar spot, here's my 2 cents. When someone shows you their true colors, trust it the first time. Don't hang around waiting for them to rethink your worth. Life's too short to be plan B. The best move? Step away and build something better for yourself. That's all for now, folks. This chapter's officially closed, and I'm stoked for the next one to kick off.